Greetings my cousins. Little quick one for you. We're going to make a dipping sauce. We're going to make some Ponzu sauce. Now this is a traditional Japanese dipping sauce that quite often you will find in your sushi bar. It can be with sushi, can be with gyoza, it can be used as a marinade, it can be used as salad dressing, and a few lighting issues by the way. Earlier that wouldn't work at all. Bought a new bowl, went to fill it, bloody thing stayed away. Think it might have to go anyway. Anyway, as I was saying, it's got a whole variety of different uses. And it's essentially a soy sauce and citrus fruit. So it's a sweet, well, perhaps not that sweet, but it's like a salty, soury dipping sauce. Now I said to you it's made from citrus juice, traditionally from the Japanese, I think it's yuzu fruit, kabuzo fruit or sudachi fruit. So if you can get, you might be able to get yuzu, but if you can't, and commercially they tend to not bother them anyway, you can use lemon and lime juice. But we're going to add a bit of flavouring to it. So I'm just using this jar just because it's convenient for me. You're going to want to put it in some sort of jar that ideally you can refrigerate the sauce overnight before we strain it and use it. And what I've got here is some kelp. Okay, some dried kelp. I'm just putting in there. I'd say about 1/4 cup. Okay, and then I've got half a cup, possibly that's not even 1/4 cup to be honest. I've got half a cup of dried bonito flakes, and in they go. And they're going to help impart some of the sort of salty umami type flavours. And then what we're going to add, just having that. Ooh, that was one of my things that's got something in. So I've got some mirin here, and I've got 2 tablespoons of mirin. So in that's going to go. I've also got 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar. In that goes. Now, Ponzu sauce, as I've just said to you, has got soy sauce in it. But originally, it was actually made, and it was almost colourless. It didn't have any soy in it. So technically speaking, what we're making is Ponzu shoyu. I think shoyu, but basically the Japanese word for soy sauce. But nowadays, both versions are just referred to as Ponzu. Okay, and it is this dark brown thing. So what I've got there is half a cup of soy sauce. In that goes. And then I said to you about the mixed citrus fruit. We've got half a cup of that. Now there are some pips gone in there. We're not worried about that, because like I said to you, that is going to sit and stew in there, preferably overnight, and then we're going to strain it off, and we should end up with about half a cup of Ponzu sauce. So just a final little note, where does it come from? Well, actually it's believed to be Dutch. It's believed to be inspired by Dutch visitors during the 17th century. Ponzu translates in English to juice squeezed from sour oranges. Now, it thinks the pons or Ponzu is derived from a Dutch word, pons, meaning punch, which later became like a drink of mixed ingredients. Ponzu, spelt with an SU on the end. Eventually they switched the S for a Z to make Ponzu, which meant vinegar. Hence, it was this citrus fruit and vinegar mix. So there we go. there's our ponzu sauce. The final thing we're going to do after it's refrigerated and marinated a bit is strain. Here we are with our appetising looking sludge, our ponzu sauce. So I'm just now going to pass this through that strainer, a sort of fine sieve, to remove obviously all the bits. Okay, bit of a pity really, that'll have to all go in the bin now. I might just squeeze out what I can though, so we get as much of those flavours as possible. Like I say, this hasn't been overnight. I know I've got changed, but this is, you know, a good while marinating in that fridge. So let's just have a little taster. You've got that saltiness, and then you've got that citrus. It's not too salty, and it's not too tangy. I thought it would be very tangy, given the volume of you know, the juice that went in it. Saltiness, but I'm also getting the sort of flavour of those bonito, which are salty-ish, but you've also got, well, that sort of semi-fishy taste. It's not like quite the same as having fish sauce. Okay, so anyway, there we go. That is your ponzu dipping sauce. Transfer that to a clean container and you can store that for about a week or so in the fridge.